fans, Robin here, back again with a deck filled with brand new cards from all the new various Nightvault sets that have come out recently. So we're looking at Echoes of Glory, the Grots and the Eyes of the Nine. This deck will be for the Eyes of the Nine, and I've only used Nightvault cards in the deck. They're the only ones you'll find. There's nothing from Shadespire. I have to say I'm not overly confident about this deck. It's meant to be a bit of fun. I don't think it's actually going to stand up to its first test, but we'll see how we go. Let me know what you think. I don't think it's that strong, but hopefully it's going to be good fun. So hopefully my next game with Pete will be a good fun game. So let's have a look. Now this is made slightly more difficult doing this deck review today because the cards still haven't been printed by Games Workshop on their Underworlds database, and therefore it's not on Underworlds DB, which I use a lot, and my cards haven't actually arrived yet. So I've been doing this with just the text on the wonderful Underworlds DB site. So I'm going to be toing and froing from there, and I'm also maybe not have seen the best synergies and card things and maybe missed something quite easily, but anyway, never mind. We're playing in a couple of days time, so I really need to crack on. So I will, without further ado, move over to my deck. Now let's see what I've got. Okay, for my objectives, I've got Agents of Change. Score this in an end phase if your warband successfully casts 4 or more spells in the preceding action phase. I've stuffed this deck full of spells. I really, really hope I can score this. I think it's just going to be a bit of fun, really, as I said. And the next one is Bind the City. Well, Bind the City is basically our only way out. Score this in end phase if you hold 3 or more objectives, and it's the Eyes specific card. So I guess you could put our only way out in your deck as well, just for a bit of a laugh. Supremacy is in there, as you will see later. Okay, then I have Chosen by Destiny, just worth 1 glory point this one. And what does it do? Let's have a look. Chosen by Destiny. Score this in end phase if either Nightvault or Taurus from your warband is on the battlefield and the other is out of action. Chances of scoring this pretty slim actually, but it's still in there. Because I wanted to try and score it, and we'll have to see how we go. Next card is Master of Magic. Score this immediately if your warband successfully casts 2 or more spells in this phase. I think this is a good chance of casting that one, so that's why that is in there. Next, I have Summoner. Score this immediately for the second or subsequent time you use Vortimis's action to summon a blue horror. So there we go. I'm going to be summoning that horror lots of times. Hopefully people kill it. You never know. Probably won't now. Ultimate Change. You've kind of got to have a card called Ultimate Change if you're going to play Tzeentch. Ultimate Change. Score this in an end phase if your warband took 2 or more enemy fighters out of action in the preceding action phase. Well, I'm playing the Grots. Hopefully I can pull that off. They're not that good, although my deck is very decidedly not that martial. But we will see. Dashed Hopes. Score this in an end phase if your warband took at least 1 inspired enemy fighter out of action in the preceding action phase. I would be trying to take out some inspired fighters. Let's hope I can do that. Extreme Flank. Score this in an end phase if there's a friendly fighter. This is the one where if you have them on either side of the board, you can score 2 glory. I think this will be quite an easy card to score, especially for the larger warbands. Maybe slightly not so good for the Eyes of the Nine. Particularly good if you've got Great Concussion or something in there to move everybody out to the edge. I've put it in there. I don't know how good it's going to be. We'll have to see. Fired Up. Score this in end phase if at least 1 surviving friendly fighter is inspired. Seems quite easy to me, so I put that in there. And then Keep Them Guessing. Score this in an end phase if your warband made at least 4 different actions from the following list in the preceding action phase. See how we get on with that one. It was a bit of fun. Sorcerous Scouring. Score this immediately if your warband takes an enemy fighter action out with a spell. Well, I have got lots of spells in there, so hopefully I can pull that off. And then finally I have Supremacy, which is worth 3. And then my Gambit's Blessing of Tzeentch is an innate lightning bolt for the first spell you attempt to cast at the next activation. Deceitful Step. Choose a friendly fighter that is not adjacent to an enemy fighter. Roll a magic dice on a lightning bolt. They place them on any starting hex. Otherwise, put them on an objective token. Could be a bit of a laugh. Ravenous Flame. Gambit spell. If this spell is cast, scatter 3 from any lethal hex. Any fighters in the hex suffer 1 damage. Effectively, it's lightning bolt for Tzeentch. So that's why that had to go in there. As my rule of you've always got to include in lightning bolt if you can. Shield of Fate. Gambit spell. If this spell is cast, it's +1 defense. Relatively easy to cast as it's a single focus. Not as easy as a single lightning, but I've put it in there. We'll see what happens. I'll do like the card art with that one, as I've stated before. Stolen Fate. You can re-roll 1 dice for the attack roll for the first action made by a friendly fighter in the next activation. So that's in there for obvious reasons, really. Just try and beef up the attacks a little bit. There's not very many attack beefing spells in this deck, so that one will hopefully come out and hopefully be of use. Racking Change, a gambit spell. If this spell is cast, choose an enemy fighter within 4 hexes of the caster. That fighter suffers 1 damage and 1 additional damage for each lightning bolt in the casting roll. I've put it in there. I don't know how good it's going to be. I'll have to see. Unfortunately, I haven't found room for the one that enables you to add an extra crit. So possibly that's a mistake. Abyssoth Withering. If this spell is cast, choose an enemy fighter within 4 hexes of the caster. This fighter has -1 wounds to a minimum of 1. The spell persists until that fighter is out of action. Determined Effort is the +1 dice for the first attack action in the next activation. Healing Pulse. If this spell is cast, choose a friendly fighter within 4 hexes of the caster and remove up to 1 wound token from that fighter's card at the beginning of each round before the first activation. The spell persists until that fighter is out of action. Irresistible Prize, choose an objective token, push all fighters that are within 2 hexes of that token up to 1 hex so they are standing closer on or closer to that token in any order you choose. If a fighter cannot be pushed in this way, do not push them. Regal Vision, choose a friendly fighter that is holding the objective, that fighter becomes inspired. Quite like this card. Empowered Sorcery now, moving on to my upgrades. +1 damage to all spell attack actions. I'm going to be trying doing damage with spells as much as I possibly can. Scroll of the Dark Arts, the Sorcerer's Bolt has a +1 range. Seal the Tether, if this fighter is holding objective in the 3rd phase, score 1 glory point. Worth having in there maybe. Sorcerer's Adept is an innate lightning. Strength of Arrogance, +1 damage to all attack actions with a range of 1 or 2. I think that has to go on a specific fighter in the deck though. It's not here on my card list, I'm afraid. Arcane Familiar, each time this fighter attempts to cast a spell after casting roll, you can change one of the symbols to a lightning, so again that's kind of useful. Champion's Fortitude, you can reroll 1 defense dice each time you make a defense roll for this fighter. Faneway Crystal, when this fighter makes a move action, they do not move normally, instead place them on an objective token, then discard this card. It's still considered to be a move action. Vague hope of getting in those supremacies and what have you. Not necessarily that easy, but you never know. If this fighter is not out of action, this is Shifting Map. In the 3rd end phase, draw an objective card. If it is worth 1 glory point, you gain 1 glory. Bit of fun again. Slumbering Key. If this fighter is not out of action in the 3rd end phase, gain 1 glory point. And finally, the Tome of Incantations. Each time this fighter attempts to cast a spell after the casting roll, you can change one of the symbols rolled to, and it doesn't say what it is. I think it's a lightning, but I can't remember. So that's it. That's the Cataphrane Tome. I've only gone for 1. I had toyed with the idea of putting lots in, but actually I think there is a objective card which gives you extra glory for each one you've got. Each of these things uses an action. I just couldn't quite see how I've managed to use them, so I haven't put them in yet. But let me know if you're thinking of doing a tome deck. Could be good, and it could go disastrously wrong, I think. So there we go. I hope that's interesting. That's my first deck. Like I said, I don't think it's particularly powerful. I may actually swap out that card that gives me an extra crit, and then I can use that against my opponent as well, potentially. It gives me an extra crit. It'd be good for that damage card. I think playing the Grots would be useful to get rid of the Fanatic. He's going to be quite hard to take down, I fear. So we will see. So there you go. Hope you found that useful. And until my next deck, which I think is going to be a Grot deck, well, have happy Shadespiring or happy Nightvaulting, wherever you are in the Mirror City. Have a great time. See you then. Bye.